Hey guys, finally we've reached the end of access. In this tutorial we are going to be looking at the questions on queries and then the last question 5.6 on the report. I'll be right back. Alright, so we've done 5.1 and 5.2 up to this point. We're now going to look at 5.3. It wants us to open the query 5 underscore 3 in design view. So let us first go and do that. Query 5 underscore 3. I'm going to right click on it and just click on design view so it opens up directly within that view. Now the question says display the records of the airports that use airfields and which have more than 20 aircrafts. Alright, so let's do this one first. The criteria that's referring to the number of aircrafts is saying more than 20. It's not including the 20, so we're not going to say greater than equal to 20, we're just going to say greater than 20 and the number of aircrafts field. So let's go and have a look here. So it says total aircraft, inside there we're going to say greater than 20. Alright, so if we run that, you will see now there will not be a number here that is 20 or less. Alright, and now what we need to do is we're going to look at whether or not this particular airport uses a airfield or not. So the question says display the records of the airports that use airfields and which have more than 20. So now the and means that we're going to have to put the criteria on the same line as the criteria we use to tell the query to look for anything larger than 20. So we have to use the same line, but now we're looking for airfields. Now, is there a column that says airfields? Does it come up somewhere else? So that's what we need to go and check. So if we go look at our data, we will see that under the airport name, it gives the airport name with the word airport, and in some cases with the word airfield at the end. So we're looking for all the ones that say airfield. So we cannot just say airfield because there are other letters within that particular data. So what we need to do is use the wildcard, something that we actually spoke about in Excel when we were doing the count ifs function, and we used the little asterisks um, to try and work out that calculation in the previous video for Excel, and we realized we were doing it wrong because the asterisk doesn't really care for how many particular characters there are. It will complete that amount of characters up to the specific word that we're typing in. So because aircraft comes at the end of the name, we're going to put the asterisk in the front. Okay, so let's go and sort that out quickly. So under airport name, and remember in line with the criteria greater than 20, I'm going to start off by saying like, quotation mark, and then I'm going to put my asterisk because the different airports have their different names at the beginning, and then it says airfield. Airfield, there we go. Alright, so it's going to look for everything that has something and ends with airfield. Doesn't matter if it's only 3 letters or if it's two full names and then airfield. It will find anything as long as the word airfield comes up in the end. Let us run the query, and there we go. We can see we have 6 records and all of them have airfield within the name, and it doesn't matter the size over here. That asterisk will accommodate any size and any length within that name before the word airfield. Right, so that was the first one. That was pretty easy. Remember to then close and save. Alright, the next question is 5.4, and that says that we need to open the query 5 underscore 4 in design view excuse me, and modify the query so that it displays the total number of aircrafts per province. So we're looking for the total number of aircrafts per province. So sometimes when they ask this question, they'll actually give you a screenshot of the actual query, and you'll have to look at the query and see, oh wow, okay, they grouped this according to province, and then they did a total. Now when we do total, we know the function we're going to use is sum, and we need to group it on province. So let's go and see how we're going to do this. 5 underscore 4. So let's right click on that, say design view. Now in order to use the grouping and the sum, what we need to do is click on the totals over here, and you'll see it adds a totals row. So there where it says province, we're going to leave it by group by, and over here where it says total aircrafts, what we're going to do is say sum. So what that's going to do is group it by province, so all the Gauteng will be put together, and then the total sum will be added next to it. So let's have a look. There we go. So you'll see each province is only written one time, and then the totals for all of them is put on the side. Alright guys, don't forget to close and save as well. Right, so that was pretty easy. 5.5 wants us to open the query 5 underscore 5 in design view, and now it's saying that airports need to budget 35 Rand per seat for maintenance of an aircraft. So they want us to insert a new calculated field called total budget to determine the total amount that should be budgeted for. Ensure the field displays in South African currency, and then save it. So what we're going to do, say for example the aeroplane has 10 seats, that means we need to budget 350 Rand. So how did I do that? Well, 35 times 10. So that's the formula that we're going to use. But now let's see how we're actually going to create this calculated field within the query. And I'm sure you guys already know what I'm going to do. We are going to use the Bob the Builder. Sorry, design view. Okay, so what I need to do is go to my open column. So here's my open column, because I'm going to create this new field within the query. I'm going to go to the builder. This is the expression builder. All right. And now what I'm going to do here is I want it to multiply 35. So I can just say the 35. Then the asterisk is for times. Let's just make sure we got that right. So you see there, the budget is 35 per seat. So now what I'm going to do is multiply that to the number of seats. So what I'm going to do is look through the categories here, and we're looking for total seats. So double click on it. So we got 35 times total seats, and when I click on OK, it puts that in for me, and when I run it, you will see there it gives me the total. So the seats, for example, here is 120 times 35 is 4,200. Now there's a few problems here. Firstly, straight away you can see this isn't formatted to currency, so we need to do that. And they asked us to name it a specific thing, and it's named is expression 1. So the name first, let's look there, it's total budget. So let's go and change that. And all I'm going to do is go to where it says expression 1. Make sure you do not delete the colons. Total budget. Total budget. And then what we need to do is change the currency. So what I make sure I do is that I'm in this particular column. Don't go and click in another column. Make sure you stay in that one, and you'll see my property sheet's already open over here. I'm going to go to format, and inside format I'm going to go to currency, and when I pick currency, you'll see it is the South African currency, and when I run it, there we go, I've got my correct heading for the calculated field, and I've got it displaying in the South African currency rands. Alright guys, so that wasn't too bad. Let us close and save. And now the last thing we're going to be looking at is 5.6, and this is the report. And the report wants us to add the necessary grouping and calculate the total seats available below each province. Now, why does it ask for us to add a necessary grouping? Well, they want us to calculate the seats available per province, so we need to add the group province to the report and then open up the province footer and then put a calculation inside there that's going to then calculate how many seats are in that particular province. And they're saying total, so we know we have to use the sum. Alright, so first thing, let's go and open up this report in design view again. Right click, design view, it's the quickest way to do it. Alright, so over here you'll see my grouping and sorting is already open. That is where you open it if you don't know. Then you'll see that it's already grouped on airport type. I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to add. That's what the question said. The question said add an appropriate group. So I'm going to add, and I'm adding the province. Now, I want to do a calculation in the footer. So over here it says without a footer, and I want to add one. So I'm going to say with a footer. And you'll see the footer appears over here. Alright, so what I'm going to do inside here now is add a label with the text box so that I can give my calculation a label and say total seats, and then inside the other box that will be created I'm going to add my expression. So what I'm going to do is go here to text box. I'm going to click and drag the box out. Remember, don't do it too close to the edge because we are creating a label with it. And here I'm going to say total seats. Over here, this is going to be my formula. Make sure you don't click in the box, you just select the box so that it's got the yellow boundary around it. And then we're going to go here to our property sheet under data control source, and I'm going to click on the three dots to open up my builder. Right, now that the builder is open, whenever I do calculations in a report, it's similar to Excel. So I need to start with equals. Then I'm going to say sum because that's the function I want to use. Open the bracket. And I want to sum the total seats. So I double click on that, it adds it in for me. I close the bracket, and when I click on OK, you'll see it adds it in. If it doesn't add it in here, it's because you were inside this cell and it didn't work. You need to make sure that you have the whole object selected and not be inside the object. Alright, now when I go into my report view, as I go, you can see it says province, it says Eastern Cape, Eastern Cape, Eastern Cape, and then over here, total seats 5,830 in Eastern Cape. And as I keep going, Free State says the same thing, and so forth. Now, this might look a little messy to you because it keeps repeating the province. If you just want the one province, there is a quick way to fix this. We can just go into the layout, right click on this, and then say group on province. Alright, now that I've done that, if we go to our home and back to our report view, you can see it just says Eastern Cape once right at the top. So all those cities are Eastern Cape, and then over here the Free State will start and the next Free State, and that's basically it, guys. So to make sure, it just says add the necessary grouping and calculate the total. That's exactly what we did. That was the end of the access videos, a total of 35 marks from 5.1 all the way down to 5.6. Alright, this is an application that is quite easy to get quite a few marks on. A lot of the stuff is straightforward, quite simple to do. These calculations are not that difficult, So if you practice and you try understand access to the best of your ability, you're going to be able to get quite a few marks from this application, and it's going to definitely help you at the end of the year. Alright guys, till the next one, bye for now.